As we move on to the latest season of the thrilling NCIS Los Angeles, everyone is asking the same question. Where's Hetty, the character portrayed by Linda Hunt? The last season of this police drama ended with engagements, adoptions, and a lot of action. We're hoping the cliffhangers that left us on the edge of our seats will finally be resolved. So, let's get into seeing what is going on in this series. The first question is, where's Hetty? They've only been able to put together the scant knowledge that a select few people have about what their former operations manager has been up to. Hetty's last known location was Syria, but in the October 9th premiere of Game of Drones, Callen and Kilbride, played by Chris O'Donnell and Gerald McRaney, respectively, do receive some alarming information. The show's creator, Scott Gemmill, has kept a lot of the plot to himself and hasn't shared anything about it. But you know us. So, spoiler alert, all we know is that Hetty was last known to be in Syria, and we recently learned that a body had been discovered there. Could the body be hers? We are on the edge of our seats with this one. While everyone else attends to the cases of the week, Callen is the one driving the charge there. Hetty's life still has such a strong presence. It's apparent how difficult it's been for him to function without her, even though she has been far away from us for a long time. So, that should make for some moving scenes involving him. Now, let's talk about how everyone has to be independent after Hetty's gone missing. It's no secret that Hetty served as everyone's parent, taking care of everyone and serving as the one they turn to for guidance on what to do next. All of us have someone like that in our lives, until we don't. We all experience this at some point in our lives, but they aren't there to provide you with the answer. Instead, you must be independent and base your decisions on the "what would Hetty do" approach, which is exactly what we can see happening on the show. But we've got to admit, it's been a treat to watch. Coming up, let's see how Kensi and Deeks are coping without Henrietta Lang. Growing up and taking care of a lot of their own affairs without Hetty also relates to Denzi. While going through the adoption process, Kensi asked Hetty to be the reference. Now, with her no longer part of the lives of Kensi and Deeks, Rosa hasn't yet been introduced to her. Yes, we realize that when Kensi asked if she would be a reference, she said that she didn't want to. She also probably didn't think she was qualified to serve that purpose. Not because she didn't support it, obviously. Daniela Ruah's character, Kensi, and Christian Olsen's character, Deeks, got good news at the end of the last season. Their application to become foster parents had been accepted, and they were going to adopt Rosa, portrayed by Natalia Del Riego. We love that. Now, let's move on to Kensi and Deeks adopting a teenager and becoming foster parents. Yes, becoming a parent is all well and good, but it's also very hard. Now, the difficult scenario for Denzi is that they're being thrown into the mix with a teenager. This being their first time, they don't have the experience. They didn't get to know their kids from the beginning, learning about their dietary preferences and dislikes, favorite hobbies, things that annoy them, and things that make them happy. Rosa is a teenager when they first meet her, so there's a lot about her life that they don't yet know, and they have to wait until she trusts them enough to let them in. This causes Kensi, in particular, to feel a great deal of insecurity because she feels like she should be a mom who knows, feels, and acts in this way, and will believe she'll eventually need to take a step back, just take a deep breath, stop worrying about who or what you should be, and just be. She's experiencing insecurity, sure, but it stems from a place of love and care, and they want to provide for this person who has filled a significant void in her life. She didn't spend any of that time with her mother. She leaves her house when her father passes away, spends some time on the streets, and never really gets along with her mother. Ouch! Sending you virtual hugs. This also explains why she feels the pressure to be a great mother. But you've got this, Mama. Now, let's talk about how Rosa's affecting Denzi's lifestyle. Adopting an adolescent is advantageous because it eliminates the need for breastfeeding at this time. No diapers are changed. With younger children, it becomes an issue if they aren't spending enough time with their parents. But with a teenager, it's different. Rosa already attends high school, has her own pals, and is an autonomous human being. There There is a greater degree of independence there, which we believe makes it much simpler for Kensi and Deeks to go to work and not worry as much. She can take the bus home to get there. That's impossible for a 2-year-old, and the writers have suggested that we'll be seeing Deeks' mother get involved as well. That's great for us because she's hilarious. But there's no news about Kensi's mother as of yet. Well, that's understandable. Their work life won't take that big of a hit because they've been made responsible for a young adult. But this also means that they won't go through the process that every parent goes through. One can assume Rosa will have difficulty adjusting to them and trusting them. Deek and Kensi will have to try extra hard to be a part of Rosa's life. So the show can swing either way. This change might not affect their work life because Rosa is an adult, or it might take a greater toll on their work life. We are excited to see how this relationship develops. Now, on to some other news. Coming up, let's talk about Ezra Moretti. It's understandable that the cast of CBS's wildly successful police procedural NCIS has evolved significantly over the course of its nearly 20-year run. With the exception of a few important characters, the show's cast does change with each new season. We meet new special agents and suspects and say goodbye to those from previous seasons. Countless guest stars also make appearances, and each new investigation seems to have a completely different cast of suspects and victims. And that's not even including the guest stars themselves. In Season 20, Episode 3, Unearthed, a character named Ezra Moretti, a treasure hunter who kidnaps Nicholas Torres and Dr. Grace Confalone and asks Grace where an antique treasure that he stole from one of her patients is located, was introduced to viewers all over. Ezra Moretti is unquestionably one of the more extravagant antagonists we've encountered on NCIS, appearing more like the bad guy in an Indiana Jones or National Treasure movie than the kind of character you'd find in a police procedural. The actor who plays Ezra Moretti, Billy Miller, should be fairly recognizable to most fans, even though this hunter would seem a little out of place in NCIS given his extensive background in both film and television. Now, why does Billy Miller look so familiar? Before Miller's stint on NCIS, you might have seen him in a number of other projects. Richie Novak was Billy Miller's breakout character in All My Children. Billy Miller's first acting credit was a brief appearance on CSI New York in 2006, but his most well-known and enduring daytime soap opera, All My Children, is when he really broke through, as shared by IMDb. With its main character, Erica Kane, played by Susan Lucci, and the many families she lives with within the turbulent and troubled Pine Valley suburb, All My Children principally concentrates on the residents of this area. From 2007 to 2008, Billy played Richie Novak on All My Children. He was a Novak family member who returned to Pine Valley after a long time in prison and went by the name Wes. The majority of Richie's time in the series was spent arguing with his sister Annie, whom he held responsible for his imprisonment, and who would ultimately beat him to death with a tire iron in cold blood. Miller was in an amazing 124 episodes of the soap opera before his character died in a terrible way. However, he was only on All My Children for a very short time, considering how long the show was. Lastly, Billy Miller played a recurring character on Suits from 2015 to 2019. Billy Miller was a series regular on General Hospital from 2014 to 2019, but he also appeared in a number of other television shows and movies, including a recurring part on Suits. It's safe to say this guy right here has been around for a while. Billy played the role of Marnus, who's the younger brother of the show's lead, Harvey Specter, played by Gabriel Macht. He first appeared in the 4th season. That's a wrap. Let us know in the comments below what you think of the show in the absence of Hetty. Hit the like and click that subscribe button, and we will be back with another video. Bye!